What if I told you the modern motorcycle industry is trying to save itself from financial decline by putting all its chips on a
Okay.
110-year-old widow from Ohio?
I mean, that just sounds made up.
It totally does.
Yeah.
But today,
Mhm.
we are taking a deep dive into an upcoming feature film project called Iron Lilly.
Yeah.
So who exactly was Lilly Farrow, and what was she dealing with in 1912?
Well, to really grasp what Lilly Farrow accomplished,
Yeah.
you have to picture the absolute infancy of the motorcycle industry in 1912. I mean,
Right.
we're talking about internal combustion engines literally just strapped to bicycle frames.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, dirt roads, constant mechanical failures, oil everywhere. It is an incredibly dangerous,
Yeah.
wildly unregulated frontier, and it is almost exclusively a boys' club.
Right, of course.
So in the middle of all this chaos, Lilly and her husband, A.D. Farrow, they co-found a Harley-Davidson dealership in Ohio.
Okay.
A dealership that, according to the project website, it actually still exists today.
Wait, really?
Yeah, as the oldest Harley-Davidson dealership in the entire world.
That alone is a huge milestone.
Right.
But the story really begins when her husband passes away unexpectedly.
Hmm.
Because in the early 1900s, the societal expectation for a widow in her situation, especially as a single mother,
Yeah, the pressure must have been...
immense. The expectation is she's supposed to sell the business quietly, step back into the domestic sphere, and just let the men handle the grease and the commerce.
Right.
But she refuses.
She totally refused.
She shatters the glass ceiling of the entire industry by becoming the country's first female Harley-Davidson dealer.
And she doesn't just, step into a managerial role either. She steps into this incredibly hostile environment.
Yeah.
She is immediately fending off these aggressive buyout offers from competitors who they assume she's weak.
Right, they smell blood in the water.
Exactly. And she is navigating this intense financial hardship without any safety net. And she's doing all of this under heavy scrutiny from a deeply entrenched male-dominated culture.
Yeah.
They simply do not believe a woman has any business operating in that space.
But the sources make it clear she wasn't just, sitting in an office looking at ledgers all day.
No, not at all.
Between 1915 and 1933, she is actively running the service department.
Yeah.
She is selling the units, the parts, the accessories. She is actively rebuilding and tuning these era-defining motorcycles herself.
She was in it.
Yeah, she knows the machines on a molecular level.
Right. And what's fascinating here is that Lilly understood something fundamental about human behavior and the products she was selling.
Okay.
Because she didn't just sell pieces of metal, she built a culture. She founded the Buckeye Motorcycle Club,
Right.
which the sources note was actually the very first uniformed motorcycle club in the United States.
Oh, wow.
And she was actively promoting these wildly dangerous extreme racing events.
Yeah, the sources talk about hill climbs, flat track racing, ice races.
Yeah, and board track competitions.
Let's stop on that for a second because I think it reveals the absolute genius of her strategy.
Mm-hmm.
She wasn't just selling hardware. She was building an operating system.
I like that.
It's like if you compare it to modern tech, the motorcycles were the iPhones, but the Buckeye Motorcycle Club was the App Store.
Yes, that is a great way to look at it.
Right, because by creating a uniform club, she created this exclusive identity.
Yeah.
And to maintain that identity and compete in those extreme races, riders needed to constantly buy gear. They had to upgrade their parts and get their bikes tuned.
Right, they had to stay competitive.
And where are they going to buy those things?
From her shop.
Exactly, from her shop. It was a completely self-sustaining ecosystem that just kept people locked into the lifestyle.
And that ecosystem model is precisely how she went from merely surviving as a widow to actively dominating her regional market.
Yeah.
She earned the nickname the Amelia Earhart of motorcycling.
Wow.
Because she proved that if you manufacture the cultural excitement, the retail commerce naturally follows.
Lilly proved in 1912 that community drives commerce.
Absolutely.
Fast forward a century, right? And modern executives aren't just reading about her community building.
No, they're trying to use it.
They're trying to weaponize it to save their shrinking margins today.
Yes.
So we are moving from Lilly's historical world building to a modern strategy that honestly feels like cinematic CPR.
That's a good term for it.
The executives behind the Iron Lilly project are betting that a movie can actually save an industry.
Right.
The film is being produced by City of Peace Films, and they're led by founder Michael Johnson and CEO Yochanan Marcelino.
Mm-hmm.
And they have already produced a 23-minute proof-of-concept short featuring actress Maisie McLean as Lilly.
And the marketing narrative coming from the production team, it's basically a masterclass in dual messaging.
How so?
Well, on one hand, you have Mike Snell.
Right, the chief marketing officer for the project.
Exactly. He pitches the film to the general public as this deeply emotional story about family, loss, and perseverance that just, happens to include motorcycles as the backdrop.
Right. That's for the public.
But when Snell speaks to the industry, to the dealers and the manufacturers, he is shockingly transparent about his actual motives.
Oh, yeah.
He has a very calculated economic goal, which he literally describes in the Chris Officer article as getting butts in the seats to increase dealership foot traffic.
He is treating the theater seat as the top of a sales funnel.
Completely. And he has seen this pipeline work firsthand.
Right, because of Why We Ride.
Yes. Snell previously worked in a similar capacity on that documentary, Why We Ride.
Yeah.
So the mechanism of his strategy is incredibly direct. A compelling movie generates mainstream curiosity.
Right.
That curiosity lowers the intimidation factor. It makes a non-writer feel comfortable enough to actually walk through the doors of a local dealership.
And Snell explicitly says, we don't care how you get somebody in the door, get them in.
Get them in, because once they cross that threshold, the psychological dynamic shifts completely.
Oh, totally. Because the dealership floor is engineered to convert curiosity into debt.
Yes, it is.
Every dealership have a highly tuned standard operating procedure.
Right.
A salesperson intercepts you right away. They walk you over to the newest, shiniest model sitting under the spotlight.
They want you to touch it.
Yes.
Yes.
They encourage you to sit on the bike, grip the handlebars, feel the weight of it.
Mm-hmm.
And before you even realize what is happening, they are pre-qualifying you for financing right there on the floor.
Yep.
Or, if you're a lapsed rider, they are casually asking if you want to trade in that old machine that's been collecting dust in your garage for a decade.
And the financial ripple effect of getting someone into that funnel, it benefits a massive web of corporations.
It's not just Harley.
Right. It goes far beyond just Harley-Davidson.
Yeah.
Snell points out that every original equipment manufacturer, the OEMs...
The ones actually building the bikes from scratch.
Exactly, like Honda, Yamaha, Harley, they all benefit from this rising tide.
Yeah.
But so do the aftermarket companies like Parts Unlimited and Drag Specialties.
Right.
These are the folks selling the custom leather seats, the upgraded exhaust pipes, the new helmets, and the spark plugs.
It's a huge ecosystem.
So even if a customer doesn't buy a brand new $20,000 motorcycle, the movie might reinvigorate them to fix up an old one. So suddenly, they are dropping $2,000 on aftermarket gear.
But this is where I have to throw a flag on the play.
Okay, what do you mean?
I am looking at this strategy, and it feels inherently cynical to me.
Interesting.
Like, is this a genuine piece of cinema, or is it essentially a 2-hour feature-length commercial just disguised as art?
Well, I mean...
It immediately brings to mind how Top Gun operated in the 1980s as this massive adrenaline-fueled recruitment tool for the Navy.
Oh, yeah, They
literally set up recruitment tables in the theater lobbies.
They really did.
But Top Gun was military recruitment. This is pure corporate profit.
Yeah.
Aren't non-writing audiences going to feel manipulated when they realize their emotional investment in a 110-year-old widow's struggle was just a psychological primer to sell them a financing package on a Harley?
I hear that, but if we connect this to the bigger picture, the line between artistic expression and commercial manipulation has always been incredibly blurry.
I suppose that's true.
Art and industry have always shared this bed, and audiences are generally highly receptive to it if the story is actually good.
Right.
So if City of Peace Films achieves their stated goal of getting 30 million people to see Iron Lily, the economic injection into the motorcycle industry would be astronomical.
The stakes are just incredibly high.
It's very high. The financial health of an entire interconnected web of manufacturers, dealers, and mechanics is essentially riding on the success of one independent film.
So if the motorcycle industry needs this movie to succeed, they really can't afford to play Hollywood roulette.
No.
They must have a mechanism to bypass the studio system entirely.
And that is the exact problem Yukainen Marcelino set out to solve.
Right.
He brings over 30 years of experience in the motion picture industry to this project.
Right.
And he states flat out that they recognized early on they did not want to rely on the traditional Hollywood model because of the financial risk of hinging an entire cultural movement on one opening weekend's box office numbers is simply too astronomical.
Here's where where it gets really interesting to me.
Yeah.
To bypass the studios in Burbank, they took that 23-minute proof of concept short film, and they took it directly to the target demographic.
Right.
It started crisscrossing the country, setting up screenings at major motorcycle rallies, from Daytona Bike Week to the Sturgis Motorcycle
It's
Rally.
a huge event.
Places where hundreds of thousands of riders congregate in one spot. They effectively built a massive offline Kickstarter campaign on steroids.
And this raises an important question about how independent films can be funded and marketed in the modern era without studio backing.
Right.
They are utilizing a pledge system.
Yeah.
When they show the short film at these rallies, they aren't just asking for applause.
No.
They're crowdsourcing ticket sales through pledges. A viewer watches the short, they connect with the material, and they make a binding pledge to buy tickets when the full feature film is eventually released in theaters.
And the numbers they are pulling in are wild.
Yeah, they really are.
The sources state that in just a few months of touring, they have already secured tens of thousands of pledged tickets.
It's crazy.
And their ultimate goal is to hit 2 to 3 million pre-sold tickets before opening weekend arrives.
3 million.
They are currently projecting to enter pre-production by fall of 2026, with hopes of a theatrical release in the fall of 2027.
Well, the sheer logistics of acquiring 3 million pre-sales requires an infrastructure that a small indie production company simply doesn't have.
Right. How do you manage that?
This is where the brilliance of their industry partnership comes into play. They have brought the motorcycle dealerships themselves in as direct marketing partners.
Oh.
The dealerships get exclusive benefits, things like VIP screenings, promotional materials, and the ability to pre-sell movie tickets right out of their showrooms.
Wow.
And the official project website lists some staggering numbers regarding this network. They currently boast 75 major partners.
And through those 75 partners, they have a combined reach of over 36.8 million customers.
Exactly.
They have essentially turned the people who stand to profit the most from the film's success into their own private media distribution arm.
Just look at the mechanics of this closed-loop ecosystem.
Right.
By leveraging the dealerships to secure millions of pre-sold tickets, they are entirely neutralizing the risk of a weak opening weekend.
Yeah.
They are mathematically guaranteeing a blockbuster opening before a single frame of the actual feature film is even shot.
That's incredible.
The industry funds the marketing drives the massive built-in audience to the local theaters, and then the emotional high of the theater experience drives those people directly back into the industry or showrooms.
It is a perfectly engineered, self-sustaining marketing machine.
It really is.
And I think that brings us back to the core mission of our deep dive today. So what does this all mean? Why should our listener care about the production logistics of a movie centered on a 1912 motorcycle dealer, especially if that listener has absolutely no interest in ever riding a motorcycle?
Well, the relevance of this story operates on two very distinct levels.
Good.
First, on a purely human level, the official Iron Lily site positions the narrative perfectly.
Right.
They state, it is a story for everyone who has ever been told you can't on and did it anyway.
Yeah.
Lilly Farrow's life is a masterclass in resilience and absolute defiance. It speaks to anyone who has ever been underestimated, overlooked, or explicitly told to wait their turn by a culture that doesn't want them there.
Absolutely.
You do not need to know how to rebuild a carburetor to appreciate the sheer grit it takes to stare down an entire industry and win.
Her story is the ultimate proof of concept for building your own table when you aren't invited to sit at the existing one.
Exactly. But the second level of relevance is the sheer business strategy of it all. This entire project is a brilliant case study in how niche industries can engineer their own cultural mainstreaming.
Mm-hmm.
We are watching a masterclass in modern grassroots marketing. They aren't waiting for a massive Hollywood conglomerate to decide their story is worth telling.
No.
They are seizing the narrative themselves, mitigating the immense financial risk through community pledges, and building an economic pipeline that leads directly back to their own cash registers.
They're basically looking at the exact playbook Lilly Farrow wrote in 1912. Build the community and the commerce will follow.
Yeah.
And they are executing it on a national cinematic scale. They're building the track while they ride on it, just like she did a century ago.
It is a remarkable full circle moment for the industry.
Absolutely.